Hi everyone, nice to be back, and we've got some wonderful weather here in the UK. It's February and it's almost like summer. Be that as it may, I'm going to read a story to you, which I hope you enjoy. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. It's called All That Glitters Is Not Gold, with a subtitle, While Cowering in the Dentist's Chair. I spent the afternoon lying prone, first in the dentist's chair, then in the hygienist's chair, which wasn't nearly as comfortable and messed my hair. It was an interesting exercise, one that sent me speeding home to smile in the mirror and then look for my calculator. But more of that in a minute. The subject of the session was to analyse what work needed to be done and to compute its cost. Naturally, there were no travel brochures actually lurking in the dentist's office, although I'm convinced after taking a look in my mouth he would be planning a long summer cruise. I eventually became aware that something of a very serious nature was taking place in my mouth when the dentist, from behind his white mask, started spouting numbers, followed by a series of sonorous ahs, ums and sorrowful sighs. So alarming was the noise that I immediately and somewhat surreptitiously began to scan my bank balance on my mobile phone and apply for an overdraft, in the hope that if I handed over enough dosh, my dentist would deign to correct the problem. A problem, may I add, of which I was unaware until the dentist started umming and ahhing. At the end of the examination, there came the dreaded, very long and even more expensive discussion about what could be done and about plaque. For those unclear as to the meaning of the word plaque, plaque in the singular is the dirty brown stuff that supposedly clings to your teeth and sets up decay and gum rot. Plaque in the plural are pretty little objets d'art, a bit quiche, usually made from porcelain. There are cheaper versions made of pottery, which cling to the walls of your hall or sitting room rather than your teeth. According to the list of numbers the dentist was calling, I'd got plenty of the former and none of the latter, since I hadn't visited Switzerland for 10 years and Spain for about 20. Were you aware that eating food causes plaque, that rots your teeth, inflames your gums, and costs a lot? I wasn't. My mother taught me that eating food is nice and accidentally keeps us alive. Worse, it causes gum disease, which leads to bone loss, receding gums, and loose teeth, which cost even more to put right. Rather like the old lady that swallowed a fly she got suckered in too. So after careful consideration of my bank balance, which tends to be devoid of zeros at the best of times, I agreed to visit the hygienist. Starters, you know, carbohydrates are the worst, I was told. Food like bananas are even worse than sweets. You know, foodstuffs. Long pause for a zizz on her machine to quit zizzing, that leave a coating on your teeth. And if you have to eat sweets, it's better to eat them all at once and then clean your teeth. Hey, hang on, I'm not having that. The whole point of sweets and chocolate, which I use in lavish quantities as an antidepressant, is that they leave a yummy taste in your mouth. Besides which, provided I am regularly topped up with another piece of chocolate, I'm able to maintain an equable and friendly outlook. And you want me to go and clean my teeth? Then there's yoghurt. Yoghurt? Alarm bells begin to flash, or do I mean ring? I waited while the hygienist moved around my chair and began removing plaque, singular, from my top teeth. Yoghurt is acid. Too much and it erodes the teeth, like drinking Coca-Cola all day. Oh, I said, feeling guilty about my morning banana and my evening pudding of yoghurt, which I eat in the misguided belief that they are doing me good. What foods don't cause plaque? I said when I could open my mouth again. Protein. Tribes that eat meat usually don't have any decay in their teeth. I waited some more. Of course, too much meat can cause bowel cancer, liver failure and childhood rickets from lack of vegetables. I just knew there would be a downside. I waited and thought, listening to the plaque, singular again, tumble out of my mouth rather like an avalanche of rock in the Cairngorms. To sum up then, I said thoughtfully, when she had finished, eating food causes plaque. Although these days we get gum disease rather than cavities, because we all use fluoride when we were kids. However, the result is the same, and they're both equally as expensive to correct. Well, the hygienist blustered, looking after your teeth is important. So I went home and calculated a lifetime's expenditure on teeth, then a lifetime of misery eating all the foods I detest simply to avoid creating plaque. That decided me. A good set of dentures and you can eat whatever you like. You can even eat chocolate in bed and banish going to the dentist forever.
Want to read Age of the Antique Cyborg for yourself? Go to www.barbaraspencer.co.uk to buy your copy today.
So this one is called Paying Homage to the Literary World, or Bravery Above and Beyond the Call of Duty. Beware. I'm sitting in the dentist chair. Again, hey, do sit up. Scroll back to my earlier blog. I wasn't just making one visit. This time I happened to be musing on how crowded the internet has become with book review sites. It's littered. No, littered is quite the wrong word. Littered conveys a derogatory message. Festooned or adorned would be more appropriate. In my opinion, review sites are set up by the bravest people who in a past life would have volunteered for a mission to introduce cannibals to vegetarianism. Why on earth should you consider them to be brave, I hear you ask? Because instead of simply having an obsession with books and leaving it at that, they've taken it upon themselves to review them. E-books read on a tablet, phone or Kindle now number in their millions, some good, some great, and some totally dire. From the blurb and fancy cover, they may look great, and indeed they may not have any spelling mistakes thanks to a spell checker, but they lack even a basic knowledge of the writer's art. In other words, they are lacking in both style and construction. Whoever it was said everyone has a book inside them should have been shot at dawn. Everyone may well have a book inside them. That still doesn't necessarily mean they can write a book. Writing is a learned craft, as is tap dancing, hurdling and becoming an astronaut. I mean, you wouldn't undertake the hurdles in an Olympic event without a soupçon of training, now would you? Besides which, it's bloody hard work. No, not the writing, everything else. One agent states on her website, if you haven't spent as long editing as you have writing, don't bother to submit your manuscript. Another agent accepts or rejects a book on the first page. Seems hardly fair. That's what she says. And agents have it easy. They only have to read 3 chapters before they sense liberation and are able to head into a darkened room to lie down. Pity the poor reviewer. They have to be the toughest, bravest, most long-suffering race in the world. How do they do it? A brief synopsis, of which there are many, has me reeling and in need of a gin and tonic. A bad beginning, and I'm run screaming from the room. A series of bad chapters, and I'm likely to break the land speed record in an effort to escape. But these guys, these reviewers, on they go, page after page, all 400 of them. Scott of the Antarctic had nothing on them. Stoically they wade through thigh-high drivel, flounder through chest-deep meanderings and into trite, meaningless and banal conversation. My advice to all would-be writers is if you can't afford a decent course, read children's books. Go to the children's section in the library and pick 12 novels at random from the shelves and read the first chapter of each one. Writers of children's books are usually masters. They have to be. One dull page and you lose your audience. So Philip Pullman for sentence construction, Louis Sacca for magnificent storytelling, Anthony Horowitz for planning, Roald Dahl for fun, and Michael Morpurgo for everything else, to name only a few of the many authors I admire. Yep, reviewers are superhumans, all right. Clutching a large brandy, I have no doubt they plough through verbose prose muttering, "It is a far, far better thing than I do now than I have ever done." By the time they reach the end, they definitely do deserve their rest when they get it. Apologies to Mr. Dickens. Thank you for listening to my stories. They come from Age and the Antique Sideboard, which tends to lampoon growing older. See you next week. Goodbye.